Hello Year 6 and welcome to Lesson 4 of your History unit of World War II and how it affected Britain. Today we're going to be looking at how important women were during World War II. So before we carry on with our lesson, here is our Knowing More and Remembering More. You will go to Purple Mash at the end of this lesson and there is a to-do set for you on there for you to answer these questions and hand them in so we can see how well you've done. So let's have a look at our historical vocabulary. By now, your glossary, your history glossary, should be building up with lots of words. So here are words in the green box that we already know, such as the Blitz, bombing, World War II evacuation. And here are 4 words that we're going to look at today and meet today. Home front, land army, military, WRNS. Make a note of these. Don't worry if you don't know what they are right now. You will know as we go through the lesson, and I'd like you to just jot down the definitions for each of them as we meet them through the lesson today. And here is your knowledge organiser. We're going to be looking at this section of the knowledge organiser today, which directly links with what women did during World War II. Looking at industry and farming, the home front military service. We look at Lillian Bader, one of the first black women to join the British Armed Forces, the Royal Navy, nurses and spies, and Noor Inayat Khan, a wireless operator and British spy sent from the UK to occupied France. So the objectives of today's lesson is to be able to identify the different occupations and roles women filled during the war, and also to understand how women helped the war effort in World War II and evaluating the importance of women in the home front war effort. Conscription. At the outbreak of war on the 3rd of September 1939, a law passed which meant all men 18 to 41 years of age needed to join the military unless they were medically exempt or essential key workers. So I want you to talk to your grown-ups. Who do you think would fill the jobs and roles left empty with the men fighting in the military front? Pause for thought. So during World War II, women's work would be vital to the British war effort, so much so that it soon became compulsory. Women had to do it by law. Early in 1941, Ernest Bevin, the government's Minister for Labour, declared that 1 million wives were wanted for war work. Later that year, in December 1941, women began to be conscripted for war work when Parliament passed the National Service Act. Here is a register of photos of workers at RAF Coningsby. RAF stands for Royal Air Force. And as you can see, we have pictures of 2 women, Mary Wilson and Phyllis Walker, both working in the canteen at the RAF Coningsby. So how important were women in World War II? What can you learn from these pictures about the sorts of work that women were involved in? Why do you think they were important? Pause for thought and make a list of your ideas. And now for your first independent task. You're going to find out about 3 different women from World War II. You will need to complete the grid on the next slide. In your packs and on Purple Mash, I have given you information about each of these women. Remember, the focus of the inquiry question is on importance. Why might these women's contribution to the war have been significant? So here is your table that you're going to fill out, making sure that you write the name of the person and area of work. What did they do? What happened to them? What sort of experience did they have? And in this column here, why were they important? And it's really important to write here their significance in the World War II effort. This can be found in Purple Mash resource, or if you have a paper pack, it will be in there. One reason why women were important was because of the scale of their work. Over 7 million women from Britain were involved in World War II. The types of jobs they did were also crucial. Look at the types of jobs they did from this image, for example. Why do you think they were important? pause the video, have a think, jot down your ideas. So now you've looked through the different fact files I've given you of those different women, and you've investigated 3 of them and 1 of your own. I want you to pause for thought and think about these questions here. Was the experience of women positive? Decide whether these are positive or negative. So, evidence of women's work in World War II. Women were paid more for working in munitions factories than they would have got for working in other jobs. Is this a positive or is it a negative? Why? Women often experience new opportunities, training, meeting new people and travel. Is this positive or negative? Why? Women were paid less for their work in munitions factories than men were. Women worked hard in factories, on farms, and for the armed services. Some women were exposed to dangerous chemicals in factories, which meant they couldn't have children. Women encountered discrimination, either because of their gender or their ethnicity. Women learned new skills quickly and showed they could do jobs like driving buses, flying planes, that people thought were men's roles. Around 500 women took on very dangerous jobs as spies, working for the SOE, the Special Operations Executive. Pause the video, have a think, and jot down your ideas. How did you get on? As you can see, I've coloured in the positive experiences in green and the negative experiences in red. I couldn't quite make my mind up for the last one. Part of me felt that as these women were taking on dangerous jobs, that it was a negative experience, and a lot of women got hurt or even killed. But the positive side of things is that women were doing jobs such as being a spy for the Special Operations Executive, such an important role. And especially a job as a spy is usually a man's job, so I suppose barriers were being broken down at that time. I don't know, what do you think? What do you think this should be? Should it be red or green? And now for your second task. To look at how important women were during World War II, I really want you now to explain the different roles played by women during World War II. I want you to use different case studies to support your evaluation. So the information given to you in your packs or on Purple Mash about these women. Here are some sentence frames that are also in your packs or on Purple Mash as a resource. And here is a word bank to help you with your writing. So why are we learning this? Why are we learning about women today in our history lesson and what they did during World War II? It's really important for us to understand the huge impact of women's work during World War II. We need to appreciate the role that they played during World War II, as it all contributes to how life in Britain changed during World War II. We need to remember that life for women prior to World War II was very different to how it was after World War II. And you see World War II act as a trigger, shall we say, or a catalyst in changing the role of women in society in Britain. So that's all for today. Make sure you head over to Purple Mash now, complete your Knowing More and Remembering More, and post your work up on Purple Mash and hand it in so we can see how well you've done.